Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be taking a look into the Tropics here. You can tell here by the Dash Hurricane Center, it is starting to get extremely active right now. We got Invest 94L to talk about. We also got Paulette, which in the last video I did not pronounce that correctly, so that's Paulette. And you got Renee right there, which I also did not pronounce correctly on the last video, so I do apologize for that. So you got Invest 94L righted here that's about to make landfall into portions of North Carolina. You got these two here just popped up last night. You got disturbance number two that'll be going into the Gulf very soon. It's got a 30% chance of developing in the next 5 days. Then you got another one that's currently in the Gulf. Has a low end 20% chance of developing. Good news is things like this one here has no threat to land, but we're gonna watch for this one here as well. Again, you got Paulette right here. It's currently a tropical storm with 50-mile-per-hour winds. The pressure is 998 millibars. This storm is starting to get pretty concerning, so we're going to watch for that very closely here, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. Then you got Renee right here, 50-mile-per-hour winds with pressure at 1,000 millibars there as well. You got disturbance number 5 to watch. You got a 40% chance of developing in the next 5 days. And then you got this one that we really need to keep an eye on. It's got a 90% chance of developing in the next 5 days, and the next 48 hours, a 60% chance. Now, this is going to be everybody's concern is this one right here. So we definitely need to watch this. It's currently over the waters now, so we definitely need to watch it very closely, which I'll show you guys that in a later video. But let's first start off with NS 94L. Has a 0% chance of developing now, but it is still named as Invest 94L. It's still over in some waters, but it's not expected to develop too much of anything. It's going to make landfall very soon onto North Carolina. You can see by that one hurricane model. You can see by the hurricane model forecast. Expected this storm here to be fairly weak here. So the only impact this tropical system will bring is a decent amount of rain, especially on the northern inside. You can see with the infrared satellite imagery, your circulation will be righted here. And you can see most of your rain's on the northern side. So that's NS 94L out of the way there. And uh, let's talk about everybody's concern probably for right now. And that's going to be these two disturbances here. You got this one here, got a 30% chance, which is going to go for the Bahamas and eventually severing in Florida. And you got this one here currently in the Gulf. So let's take a look to that. We'll use windy for this one. This is the European model. We're going to kind of play this out. So here's one of them right here. Looks like 15-mile-per-hour winds. You can see the circulation of that system. This one here has a 20% chance of developing, but let's turn on sustained winds. So it's 9 o'clock. You can see it starts to move to the southwest and eventually making to landfall into Mexico there. Then let's see if we can get the other one. Let's actually back this up here. Let's see if the GFS is picking on it as well, which it actually is. This looks to be the other one right here. See, on the far northern end of that storm, 22-mile-per-hour sustained winds. So here it is right there by Sunday. Continues to move on. You can see here, potentially makes landfall into New Orleans. But it seems like this is, GFS has this as more of a tropical depression. So we're going to watch this closely here. 21-mile-per-hour sustained winds. European model is not even picking up on it. So for right now, this disturbance right here will be the one to watch for right now, since the GFS is actually picking up on it as a tropical depression before landfall. But right now, the conditions I believe is looking to be kind of favorable, but we'll take a look into that in a little bit. So those are so it's so those two disturbances are out of the way. Let's talk about Paulette, tropical storm Paulette, 50-mile-per-hour winds, pressure 998 millibars, moving west-northwest at 10 miles per hour. So let's take a look to that. So here's Paulette. You get a large burst of convection ongoing. You can actually kind of see the circulation right about there. So yeah, seems like it's dealing with some dry air as of right now. So we'll got to watch this very closely. It's still currently again a tropical storm. Here's the National Hurricane Center's forecast, and this is what I'm talking about here. You can see where it's going to. Has Bermuda under the gun for a potential hurricane by 8 o'clock Tuesday morning of next week. So this is definitely something we're going to really watch for and keep an eye on of. And if we take a look at two hurricane models with that, with Paulette, here's the hurricane models of where it's going to be going. And it seems like Bermuda might be off the screen. It's actually hard to tell where Bermuda is. You can see Puerto Rico's way down here. So I'm guessing Bermuda is somewhere down here. Maybe, perhaps. No, it's definitely not. Well, actually, maybe it is there. It's very hard to tell because Puerto Rico's there, Bermuda's all the way up there. So I'm by looking at hurricane models, seems like it's gonna be curving a little bit earlier. So that's good news from the hurricane models. But the intensity is not that. There's not good news from the intensity. We actually got a pretty good agreement of this thing becoming a Category 1 hurricane. It may be coming into a Category 2 hurricane. So that'd be something to watch. Here's the GFS ensemble. So you can see it actually takes it right into Bermuda with a pretty low pressure there. Probably around 970 millibars, that's the average. But you could tell here later down the road, could be below 950 millibars in your pink colors there. So it's definitely looking to be quite a strong system there as well. And here's the GFS parallel ensemble tracks. You can see here, again, fairly similar. So this is definitely something we really need to keep an eye on. Of you can see here the tracks, you know, 3 days out. It's pretty far apart, so that's not good from the parallel ensembles there. So Bermuda definitely need to watch out for Paulette very soon in the next 5 days. At this point here, I'll say just get prepared. Just in case if this thing here does go towards your way. So anybody watching for Bermuda, I will probably get prepared now for Paulette. So definitely need to watch that very closely. So that's Paulette out of the way. We got Renee here, tropical storm Renee, 50-mile-per-hour winds, moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour there as well. So let's take a look to Renee, which I believe yesterday it was hitting some dry air and also as well as some wind shear as well. You can see it's starting to get better organized here. Looks like your circulation looks to be about right there. Got some convexity starting to swirl around it. You can see here, pretty much has no threat to land at all. It has a northern turn very early. Here's the National Hurricane Center's track. It does look like it could become a hurricane very soon by 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. But again, it seems like this thing here will not have a threat to land, which is good news there. But you can see, boy, this is a mess here about the tracks here from the ensemble. So you can see it's all over the place. And this is the parallel in a in GFS ensemble. So this is the older version. That's what it means. Parallel, this is the older version. So to keep in mind of that, BXA are quite all over the place. And you got the original GFS ensembles not really picking up all that much and not really becoming an oppressive system. Here's the intensity guidance here. You can see you got a group of balls sustaining into a tropical storm around pretty much the same strength for the next couple of days. Meanwhile, you got another group of balls bringing this thing into a Category 1 hurricane. It's just looking like to be the more likely solution there as well. But again, not really much to worry about from Renee. So that's Renee out of the way. Let's talk about these two disturbances here. We got disturbance number 4, got a 90% chance of developing in the next 5 days. You got disturbance number 5. It's got a 40% chance of developing in the next 5 days as well. So let's take a look into those two systems. So we're gonna go back over here. Got Paulette, got Rene, got your tropical system coming off of Africa, which I think today probably name as an Invest. I'll definitely say. Now, as we kind of continue on, you see here's your tropical disturbance right there has a 90% chance of developing. You got the one that has a 40% chance of developing up there. Actually hits the Cape Verde Islands, so they get to hit by twice. Just kind of crazy. 30-mile-per-hour winds. That's kind of close to a tropical storm there. Kind of close, gotta say. Meanwhile, you got the other one also at 30-mile-per-hour winds. So both of those at this point is a tropical depression. Move on to 6 o'clock. Rene is starting to die down a little bit. It's at a tropical storm. Got Paulette with probably close on borderline of a hurricane at that point. As we kind of continue on here, you actually making another tropical disturbance to come off Africa there, quite far to the north. So we'll watch out. Still a tropical pressure on that system. This one here is really getting close to becoming a tropical storm. As we kind of continue on, here's Paulette. Rene has pretty much died at this point. That may be the remains right there. But you can see here Paulette. At this point, here's a hurricane. You can see where this tropical disturbance is going. Likely this is underdone. Well, maybe not underdone, but again, this model's not been doing great of tracking some of these tropical systems. It's actually a tropical storm at that point. Got you other tropical disturbance. Looks like it's a little far behind. No, that's actually a complete different one, actually. Becoming a tropical storm later on, so we gotta watch for that. There's that disturbance that has a 40% chance of developing. I'll probably say that thing will develop as well, so I'll probably increase my chances on that system, probably up to a 70% chance. So pretty high percentage chance for that system. Then you got this one right here, still a hurricane. But if we kind of move on, you can actually see where this thing is actually going to. It passes over Cuba, starting to becoming a hurricane around that point, so we've got to watch for that. You can see here comes another one, but this will likely change with that system. So let's go back and let's compare it to the GFS model. So let's go straight to 8 o'clock. I got Rene. Now keep in mind these numbers are likely going to be underdone with GFS. This is not a high-res model. I mean, European model is not a high-res model, but it is also as well as it's a little bit more high-res than the GFS. So to keep in mind of that, you got your disturbance over here, really coming on the shore. Actually, this may be it right here. Yeah, it is it. Then you got your other tropical disturbance, which also has hit the Cape Verde Islands as a tropical depression. So they're about to get slammed by another tropical system. Move on to 2 o'clock. You can see GFS not really quite picking it up on that system. There goes Paulette hitting nearby Bermuda. Got Rene right there. Then you got some leftovers from this one right here. Still a tropical depression. But let's watch what the GFS is picking up on this one, though. You can see it's now a tropical storm heading for Lesser Antilles. Passes the Lesser Antilles. Back this up just a little bit. Picking up a, Category 1 hurricane. As we kind of continue on here, it's getting closer to a Category 2 hurricane at this point. Now, this will likely change here, to keep in mind that, because this is about 10 days out. Still a hurricane, and still a hurricane at that point, but you can see where it's going. And the GFS and European models actually got an agreement on the track here. You can see the European model is actually a little bit faster. And like I said about the system back here, you know what, the Euro's picking up on that. GFS is not. So, and again, you know, in the 10-day period, this will likely change. Now, but before we end the video, let's talk about the atmosphere, see how favorable for these tropical systems are. So this is how much moisture, you know, is in the uh, you know, atmosphere. Now, your brown colors is your dry air. Your green colors is the your moisture there as well. Now, what you want to see for these systems here, you want some dry air to try to get into the circulation. That's what slows down the intensification and also can die down tropical systems. But for this scenario, doesn't look like that's not going to happen. Same, especially for Paulette. But you can see with Paulette, you see at one point it was 163 millibars. Then you got Renee right there, which is dying down. You've got disturbance, I believe number 4. Yeah, disturbance number 4. Then you got disturbance number 5 right there as well. As we kind of continue on here, you can see how disturbance number 4 does gain quite a bit of intensity. And look at Paulette. I mean, look at that. 954 millibars. That's pretty much a major hurricane at that point. Just looking at that. But look where the GFS is going to take it. Now, keep in mind, guys, this will likely change. This is what we call, you know, law on land or whatever. This is likely going to change. So you got, you know, disturbance number 4, 964 millibars heading into Cuba, passes through Cuba, heads right towards southern Florida, and goes right through Florida there. But again, this will likely change. This is hour 384. If we look to the previous run, it actually kind of sticks around, but then eventually you can see you can see here how it's all over the place there. So that's pretty much my point there. Now let's take a look into the wind shear with all these systems. Got Paulette, got Renee, got disturbance 4 right there. You see Paulette does head into some wind shear, so that might able to help it calm it down. That's pretty much the same way for Renee. But you got disturbance number 4, which is somewhere going to be down there. Got disturbance number 5 there, heading into some wind shear. Yeah, disturbance number 5 is pretty much running into some wind shear there, so that's likely going to keep it down on that system. But then, as you can see here, with disturbance number 4, doesn't have really any wind shear around that system at all, so no moisture. I mean, there's tons of moisture, or I should say no dry air. There's not a whole lot of wind shear. So if this is the scenario of what the GFS is showing, if this verifies, we could potentially see some rapid intensification with disturbance number 4, but that can likely change. Now this is the 10-day period. This is when things kind of go crazy and not accurate. You can see here, passes over Cuba, and then wind shear dramatically increases out ahead of it, so that could help it die down. You can see then it makes landfall through Florida, but again, that will likely change. So a few things to note. You know, invest in A4L, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about disturbance number 3. Get a watch for disturbance number 2. Might become a tropical depression, but that's still not too big of a deal. Paulette, Bermuda needs to watch for Paulette. Rene, we don't have to worry about Rene that much for that system. The Cape Verde Islands needs to watch for disturbance number 5. And the Lesser Antilles, you know, pretty much into the Caribbean, needs to watch for disturbance number 4. But again, things can change for disturbance number 4, but we will see about that. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy this tropical update. If you guys like this tropical update, hit the like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, give it a comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.